we are going to create this wonderful event registration form with the help of main stack application. Now let's start creating the main app for this video. So mean is nothing but MERN is nothing but Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So with all this, we are going to create a simple application. So with this, we have like backend and front end. Okay, let's start creating the main app in this video. Okay, first let me create a folder. Okay, so for that mk directory, and here I'm going to give the app name as main YouTube app. Okay, so once this has been done, then click enter. So now the directory has been created. Now we have to get inside. So cd just tab, you'll get the directory name, press enter. Okay, so now we are inside the main directory. Now what we are going to do is we are going to install the node. Okay, so for that npm init -y. So based on the time, based on the network, this will take some time. But since my network is too good, so this has been completed. So where you can see here, because the node has been the unit has been completed. Now let me install the dependencies. So here npm install express. So these are all the the main stack application which I'm creating it here. Express, mongoose, this was the database, and .env for secure file and cause. Just press enter. Again, based on the speed, this will complete very fast. Internet speed. Okay, cool. So this has been created. This packages has been installed. Now I'm going to do the npm install hyphen save. I'm going to save the nodeman. Nodemon. Okay, press enter. This is also done. Now let's see. Now let's see how the directory structure for this. Here you can see this is what our directory looks like. See, I created the app, and here this is a folder structure. That initially it will be backend, and we have models, routes, env file, server.js. Okay, so this is the folder structure which I have, and front end will be having it. No, whenever I'm creating it, I'll showing you. This was the front end. Front end will be done very soon. Now let's go back to the just open the Visual Studio for now because we have to create the .env file. So I'm just opening my Visual Studio app. So here this was I think 1 minute. So here we have the node modules. I think this was my existing one. Let's create a new window. Close this. Open folder. Day 3. Min tab. Select folder. So here you have the folder bin came. Now what we are going to do is based on our structure. If you see here, our structure is like backend, models, roots, env, right? So we are having that node modules here. I'm going to create .env file. So the env file is basically for to secure the database URI strings and all, where you can have it there. So what initially which I'm going to give is the first part is which I'm going to give the port equal to 1000. Okay, and the next part is URI Mongo. Let it be a capital letter. Mongo underscore URI equal to, here we have to give the connection string. Okay, so for that what we are going to do is we are going to create the Mongo URI in the cluster. That's no MongoDB class. So just go to your browser window. So here where you can see the cluster window, which I already logged in here. You can see my login user there. So now let's create the new project by clicking create button. So you can see there are three different options are available. Servers, dedicated. You can see that read the information here for application development and testing. So we can use this. Dedicated means it will be there for dedicated to your application. Like for example, if you whenever you have a production application or like advanced level of controls, for that we can use this dedicated. And share, it will be like shared. We are using the shared one. Okay. Here you can see like this is basically for the learning purpose. I'm going to use the shadow only. But if you see, since I have already used this free cluster, it is asking us to pay the money for based on the hourly basis 0.12. Okay, for this what we can do is just cancel this from right now. Go to the image, click new project. So whenever we create a new project, now that free cluster will be enabled. So here we have to give the project name. So let me give the MERN app. That's my project name. Then click next, and I am the owner of the project. Create. If you want to add anyone to this project, you can add it. But still, I don't want to do it that one. So just create the project. First, once project created, then we have to create the cluster. So cluster. So now we're going to start the cluster. You can see here. This is what my app. So it came inside the cloud plus DB. So here you can clearly see we have the option called free M0. M0 is nothing but the free one. Okay, these are all we saw in the previous page. It was asking the cost. So now let me use for the free one. So here you can give the name. So again, I'm going to give the MERN app. We can choose one of the providers, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. Let me go with AWS itself. And this is the region. Okay. Create deployment. It will take a while. Okay. Now here we are going to give the connection string. Okay. So what is this here is, see this username, it has been already been taken care by the login which you did it. Okay. This and a connection IP string, this will automatically detected. Normally what will happen, it will be having some button to click to add the IP address, but since it has been automatically taking, so no need to do this anything here. Now just change the password. So the password which I'm going to give here is MongoDB at 123. Okay, so this was the password, but don't forget this password, note it somewhere else. Now choose a connection method. Oh, sorry, we have to click the database user. So first create the database user. Once the database user is created, now choose the connection method. So here we have to choose the drivers. Once the driver has been selected, now since we are using Node, we can go with Node, or else we can select whichever you want, PHP, Python, whichever whichever we can select the drivers. But since I'm using Node, let's go with the Node. So here we can choose the version and just going with the stable API version 5.5. Okay, now we can copy this string and go to the Visual Studio and paste it here. Okay, so basically here we have the username, password, and this is a URI. Save this file and done here. So in meantime, we can see the database and all is created. Just close this notification. Now let's create the folder structure. Okay, for our MERN app. Since I have what I did is like I have separately created a folder structure in my notepad. So based on that, I'm going to use for this video. So here you can see this is our main app, and here we have the backend. Inside the backend, we have config folder, models folder, root folder, and we have different other files. Okay, inside the config folder, there will be a db.js. This db.js is the most important. Here is the one where we are going to connect the MongoDB connection string. And in this one, this models will have the form data model. It has the main purpose for this is like create a model for the form data, and this is like form routes. This is basically for the API purpose, and this is for the env file which I showed you just some time back, and it has the environment variables. And now we have the server.js file. It has the server setup under it will be available. When you just come down, we have the package.js and package log and node modules. The front end part will be showing in some time later. So first, we'll set up the backend part completely, then we'll go for the front end part. So now we are going to create 3 more folders like config, models, and routes. Let's begin with Visual Studio. Here, if you see here, like we structure it like we have the MERN YouTube app is a primary is a parent folder, and inside the parent folder we get 2 subfolders. One is for the backend and another is for front end. So in the backend inside here by default, not by default, I have already installed the node module and the environment file I already set up. Now I'm going to create 3 more folders. One, this is for here create a folder for models and routes. Okay, just back check it again. Yeah, config, models, and routes. Okay, so now we are going to create a one more file called db.js. So which I'm going to create in the config folder. Just click the new button here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to create a configuration, that is Mongo's DB connection configuration. Okay, let's start with since I'm having this, I'm just going to take this. I will explain one by one here. So the first part in this is it is importing the Mongos, right? So here I give the variable as Mongos and I'm just importing the first file, okay, which is an object data modeling, so-called, we'll call it as ODM, and this is a library for Mongo and for Node.js. Okay, this is a schema-based solution basically. And what I have in the next part is I have created one more variable called connectDB by using asynchronous method. So here I have try catch method. So what is happening is like it is first connecting the Mongos by using the env file. We got the env Mongo URI. If you see here we got the URI which has been already been shown in the previous thing. So once that has been connected, suppose like if connected, it will automatically in the console it will show us Mongo connected. If it has any error, it will show exit and it will show an error message. And once it's connected, like we have the module export at connectDB, so we are exporting it in the connectDB. Now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to create the server file. This is the one server.js file. So again, I'm going to create a separate file here called server.js file. So just click here. So this is also server JavaScript files. Since I have the code here, I'm just going to copy this. Just save it. So what here is actually, again, the first 4 basically for importing the required dependencies like express, .env, cos, and configuration files. Okay, so .env is basically for secured. I already told it's basically for secured one to connect DB, and the next we are having the .env we are configuring, and we are doing the method of connect DB. And once that's done, we are expressing. We are calling the method as express here, and app.use. Okay, that is we are using the cos here and express.json, and we are having the port for since we are already in the env file, again it's mentioning here app. Once everything is got sent, like the app will return as app is running, and we will see the when you are executing the file, we'll see that then console.log the server running on the port of 5000, because we already gave the port equal to 5000. Okay, what are the port, and it will reply the as 5000 here, server running on port 5000.